viewers, you're welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Youth Arena. And we've been discussing several subjects as it pertains to leadership and personal development. And today we're going to be discussing something very interesting: your passion and your profession. That's what we're going to be talking about, your passion and your profession. What is passion? How do you develop your passion into a profession? Is there a relationship between passion and your profession? We'll get to find out all that in this episode. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. And with me today to discuss that is a lawyer, a blogger, and a writer. I also believe she's a wife and a mother. And we'll get to hear from her when it's time, and the time is now. No other person but Mrs. Chioma Moma. You're welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, just a quick one. How are you able to organize your responsibilities, the various responsibilities you have, to do? How are you able to manage them?
Well, first you have to be organized, like you said.
Yes.
You have to be organized. You have to have timekeeping skills. Do things at the right time, and then passion helps. When you're a wife, you're a mother, you work, you have a 9 to 5, you have different things you do. When you have the passion, it makes hard jobs easier.
Yeah.
So that's it. Really.
I can imagine what it would look like if you are in a job that you don't like, and then you have all the other responsibilities, around.
It will make it even much more difficult.
Okay.
It will make it much more difficult.
All right, now onto the lawyer profession. You're a lawyer. What prompted your being a lawyer?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't my doing,
Okay.
which is why it's important for a parent to know what their child likes, what their child's gifts are. For my mother, she noticed I was good at talking. I love to talk. I'm a creative person.
Okay.
And time for filling the JAMB form, I put in insurance. She said, no, maths is not your strength. You're more of a talker. You're more of a, you like to argue. You like to do research. Study law. And, at first I was like, no, I don't want to be a lawyer. But she knew her daughter, and she gave me good advice, and it helped. And no regrets so far. Law is a versatile, field. You can be a maritime lawyer, you can be a domestic lawyer, you can be a family lawyer. There's so many things you can do while practicing law. So
which area do you specialize in?
Well, I'm a public sector lawyer.
Public sector, okay.
Yes, because I still work
Okay.
with the government. I'm a public sector lawyer.
That's cool. All right. Then the writer, the blogger part of you, how did it come about?
Okay, writing. I've always loved writing. Like I said, from childhood I loved reading. And most readers are writers.
Of course,
naturally, flows. And I was always writing. I write my thoughts down. I've had a blog for even when blogs are not popular. I started blogging 11 years ago. And then I would write different things that were happening, different challenges under my anonymous blog, and I got readers from all over the world who were like, this is interesting. And, the more I found people liked what I wrote, the more I wrote. And I found it, and it came naturally to me. I would have an idea and you'd say, write about passion. And in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I've written something. Yeah. So it was a very natural thing. And with blogging really is just content creation. So it is writing as well. So it's the same thing. So they're both intertwined, writing and blogging. So yeah.
So the blogging aspect is more like just putting out what you've written
in the social,
the audience to see.
To see, exactly.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right, going straight to what we have for today. What can you, in your own understanding, what do you understand by passion?
Passion.
What is passion?
Passion is, you can have different passions. That's one. Passion is that thing that you do, and you do it, and it gives you excitement, makes you happy. When you have a passion for souls, you can't just help yourself. You see somebody and you say, I need to preach the gospel to this person. When you have a passion for a woman, you see her, you're like, I want to do anything to make her happy. It's something, it gives you joy. You do it so happily and so gladly. When you have a passion for books, you love studying. That's just your thing. So it just makes you happy, something no one has to force you to do. When you have a passion for seeing, places tidy and arranged, you're always tidying the place. You're so finicky because it's something you have a passion for naturally. So passion is that thing that you do and you do with ease. You're naturally drawn to it. It's something you enjoy. It makes you happy. Even if you're not being paid to do it, you will gladly do it.
It's something you are naturally drawn to do. Something you have more like a strong desire to see it happen, to see it come to pass.
Somebody else might sit and think, this room looks okay, it's tidy, and you're like, no, you can see everything that is wrong, and like, I need to just fix it. So that so your passion is arranging or organizing or fixing things. You just see something that is that is bad. You say just anything. You just see something that, I need to just work on this thing. So yeah,
I think one other thing I would like us to call out for our audience, because most times when they hear the subject of passion, they are looking to hear some big stuff, like you're passionate about engineering, passionate about medicine. All of those things could be part of it. But what of the small things that people neglect on a regular basis? Maybe we'll just call it out, like as little as passionate about singing, passionate about clothes, needling, fashion designing, and all of that, and various other things that are not that popular. Maybe you throw a little more light on that.
Like you said, they're all intertwined, really. If you're passionate about being a doctor, first of all, it stems from a passion to help people, to see them better. So it could not only be in medicine, it could be in a different field. It could be nursing. It could be like, okay, I just like helping people. I like counseling them. I like solving their problems. It could be like, okay, when I see people sing, I've always imagined myself singing in the choir or singing in front of people, you know. So it goes across board in different fields. It could be that you see things grow and you're so excited. So you want to be a farmer. You have a passion for farming, and then you start, you know, open a farm, or you start. It just goes across. It's not only for, like you said, those engineering. No, it goes across board. You have a passion for things as little as, well, not even little, because it's important. A passion for children. You just see children, your heart just goes out to them. You're drawn to children. You want to just be in children ministry. You want to just stay around children. You know, so it's just cuts across. And like I said, you can have several passions. You might have one that stands out more than the other, but you could have several passions. So you see a person who is, for instance, drawn to singing, but is also very good at fashion design. So maybe one might be more pronounced, but the other one too, you can also express it at different times. So
okay, that's wonderful. One person can have several passions, so it's not out of place to be drawn to a number of things.
No, at all.
But just like you rightly said, in the midst of all of those stuff, one seems to stand out.
One will be more pronounced.
And then in personal experience, I've discovered that the one that stands out somehow has a way of the other ones you are passionate about have a way of supporting.
They all connect.
To the main one that stands out.
It makes it easier for you to fulfill your purpose when everything ties in and it ties into it. And most times that's what it is. So you see, you might have one main thing you're really good at, and you have other things. Those things that you say are not so different from that your main passion, and they all feed into it. So they all play like supportive roles, like you said. So that's very important. They make it easy.
So I think it's important the audience understand that, so that people don't feel out of place. I'm drawn to this, I'm drawn to this, I'm drawn to this. So which one am I to go
it's a gift. You know, when God gives you gifts, some people are so multi-talented. It doesn't mean God doesn't want you to just use one and ignore the rest. You know, it's important that those gifts God has given you, that you develop, and you have to use them. God gave them to you not to bury in the ground like the unfaithful steward, but to use them, but to multiply them and to help other people. So you need to use your gifts.
All right, so those passions should be identified,
and
they should be built upon, they should be nurtured.
Exactly.
All right, another question, is there a relationship between a passion and a profession?
Is there? Well, there should be. Many times there is, and that's what causes frustration. A lot of people are frustrated doing jobs that they hate, doing things that they do not like at all because they have no passion for it. If you're passionate about banking, when other people are saying, oh, I want to go home,
your life is inside it.
You want to just be in the bank, as in the figures are just doing something for you. You're like, you know, I'm hitting my account, I'm making you love it. So there should be a relation, because if there's no relation, it will just make it such a tedious thing for you. So yes, there should be. Is there always? No. And that's what causes a lot of, you know, putting a round hole in a square peg. People are frustrated because they're doing things that they have no passion for. You're doing accounting, you hate figures completely. You don't even understand why you're an accountant, but you're just doing it. You will have a problem.
I think what we're discussing today is very important, and it will really help a lot of persons if they understand it. So many persons feel that their survival in life is dependent on working for other people.
Oh no.
So people could go as far as picking up a job you don't like, just so that the monthly income will be rolling in, and then they are frustrated working for another person who is passionate about what he set up, and the person is making his money, and then the employee is suffering. So I think it's a very important subject. And just to throw a little more light on the career and passion, I was watching a movie some time ago, The 3 Idiots.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an Indian movie. I watched it a long time ago, and the main character of the movie made a statement that never left me as far back as when I was still a child. He said, when your passion becomes your profession, work becomes play.
Oh yes.
Work becomes
definitely
play.
You just find yourself spending time doing that thing. People are like, you know, like I said, for me, I love writing. So So I edit magazines. I used to do it for my, for my church and for different people. And you can see me. The deadline. I need, you need to go to press. It gives you an adrenaline rush. You're excited. You look. Somebody will be like, "I'm tired of reading this thing," but you are excited to do it, and you're like, "That deadline, I must meet that deadline," because it's not work anymore. It's play. It's fun. Something you're enjoying. Someone who doesn't like writing will find it so. Why am I doing this? So it's really so. It makes your life so easy. Even studies. If you're studying a course that you enjoy, it makes it so much easier to achieve that distinction that you're supposed to achieve.
It comes in naturally.
It comes naturally. There's no stress.
Even the stress is enjoyed.
You enjoy it. Exactly. Like researching. Another passion of mine is researching, because it's all tied, reading, writing. Because when you want to write, you need to research what you're writing. You can't just write off points. I will start researching on one thing. You see me, hours are going. I'm just going from one page to another page, searching things out, and I love it so much because it's something that I'm passionate about. Somebody will be like, what's this reading? What's this about? So with your job, it's very important. Yes, you must have an income. Yes, you must survive. But try and identify that thing you're passionate about. And then even if you can't find it in a job, how about doing something for yourself? Some of us are so gifted. We can do so many things that, things that other people find difficult you find easy. Yes, you find it easy. So that's one thing that will give you an idea to what you're passionate about. Things that you find, someone will say, this is so hard. And you're like, this is easy. Making hair comes easy to me. Writing things comes easy to me.
So most of these employees actually, how do I put it now? They serve their firms with their passions for free because it comes in handy for them. They are not being paid for that. It's more like an extra responsibility to their main responsibility. They are down on their main responsibility. But whenever the passion thing, what they're passionate about, comes around, they throw themselves into it, they're excited, and after that they shrink back.
Like for instance, like I work, I'm a lawyer, like I said, so I work for the government, some of the things I do. And I love to write. So it was identified very early in my, that, Chioma loves to write. So I'm the editor of our in-house magazine. So that's one thing. If you give me, Chioma, we need the newsletter out in 1 week, I'll do it. There's some kind of task you give me and I'll be like, somebody else will take that task and do it, sharp. So, so it's really, you find yourself, and then at the end of the day, you're not being faithful. Because when you're not delivering on the job, you are robbing your boss, you are robbing yourself, and you're disobeying God, because you're meant to give honor to who, give unto Caesar what is for him. You're not living the way you should. You work for somebody, the person is paying you, and you're really not delivering because you hate what you do. So what really is the point? You tell yourself, I'm actually being fraudulent here. In a way, as in really, when you tell yourself the truth is that really, I'm not delivering. I don't like this place. I hate coming to work. I hate being here. Then what really is the point of being there every day? Just tell yourself, you know what, I need to take myself out of this situation. Yes, people will say recession, times are hard, but you can find things to do on the side. Satisfy your passions while you're still working, and you can start having a plan for a rainy day. If I leave this job, maybe I can find something else, another job I enjoy. Maybe I can start up my own business, something I really can pour myself into. Because business is not easy. A lot of people think, work for myself and it'll be easy. No, you even work harder. You're working harder, but the thing that you're fulfilled because you're doing what you enjoy. The first payment is the fulfillment. Exactly. Wonderful. The first payment is like, so that alone, without the money, you're happy because you're fulfilled. You live every day, you go to bed knowing you've achieved a lot, you're happy. And there's nothing like fulfillment really when you're doing anything in life.
All right. Then another thing I discovered actually is that every passion, like without exception, everything you are passionate about, a career can be formed around it. Oh yes, I agree. Everything, especially in the world of today, everything. There's a lady I know. Her name is Tara. Tara is a lawyer as well, and she just loved makeup, loved making people look pretty. I remember when she started the whole makeup thing, people were looking at her and saying, "What's wrong with this one? She wants to paint faces," But it's not an easy thing to do. Not everybody can, The ladies can testify.
Oh, I can testify. I'm not good at that kind of thing. But, so for her, she saw a need, and that's how it is. There's a need that you're going to fulfill. You see, there's a void somewhere. And this needs to be filled, and you have that natural desire to fill it. So makeup, which at a point no one used to do, all of a sudden there are makeup artists all over the place. It's not a bona fide profession. And it's the same thing. So, now you see people who love to cook. A lot of people are so busy, they don't have time to cook. And you have this lady who is always cooking. Cooking doesn't, as in, it's not a big deal to her. In minutes, she has done what to take you 30 minutes to do, she has done it in 5 minutes. And she'll start making food, going from house to house, you know, going from office to office, delivering food to people, making soups for them, making their lives easier. That's a profession. So every passion you have can become a bona fide profession. Yes.
Okay, now we'll go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit. One of the things that I believe deter people from venturing into their passion, creating a career around it, is fear. So we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
We will proclaim Christ faithfully to the nations.
I want to see you just shake your body to the Lord. Just give him a dance. Come on now.
For me to be in an Anglican setting with real faith and joy and multicultural.
The center of the gospel message is Jesus Christ.
It's most exciting moment being here with brethren all over the world.
When Jesus came down from heaven.
We find ourselves as doing ministry at the front line of the mission field of northern Kenya.
Yet faithful proclamation of the gospel is under attack.
So unless we had a conference statement today which said that we're going to hold to Scripture, then in evangelism the Holy Spirit departs.
There was trouble.
Tragically, there has been a failure of leadership in our churches.
We felt very alone.
My dad and his church decided to leave the Episcopal Church.
Our communion has been under threat from leaders who deny the lordship of Christ.
There was trouble.
I love the fact that we were at the temple steps, which was so historical. And then I just thought about all nations gathering together in unison, singing the Lord's praises.
We respectfully urge the Archbishop of Canterbury to invite as full member to Lambeth 2020 bishops of the province of the Anglican Church of North America and the province of the Anglican Church in Brazil, and not to invite bishops of those provinces which have endorsed by word or deed sexual practices which are contradiction to the teaching of Scripture.
There's a challenge to the Archbishop of Canterbury. We want him to step up to the leadership of his office.
We must praise him.
Let me just read you something that was said. I thought this was wonderful. We're not leaving the Anglican Communion. We are the majority of the Anglican Communion seeking to remain faithful to our Anglican heritage.
It's great, isn't it?
It is, and it leaves a question for the Church in England. Question is, what gospel will we proclaim? Will we proclaim the gospel which is the traditional gospel of the Anglican Church, faithful to Scripture, which is that Jesus is Lord, we must repent of all sin, and here in Jerusalem, go to his cross for forgiveness? 71% of the world's Anglicans are represented here. Will we stay with them?
It's been an extraordinary experience, hasn't it?
It has been. I'm elated, and I feel I've come home.
We do. I mean, that's how it feels to me. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's been an absolute joy, and I'm so grateful.
To be led by these men of God who are standing up with clarity for Jesus.
Yeah, we're going to be going onto the front line. I'll be preaching on Oxford Street on Sunday afternoon, and as I go out to preach on the street, I'll go just thrilled that I'm representing this church.
We must praise him.
We invite all faithful Anglicans to join us in this great enterprise of proclaiming Christ faithfully to the nations.
It's very exciting. We're going forth from this place to proclaim the gospel, and that's what it's all about. To proclaim Christ faithfully to the nations, and we're really going to do that.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back. We trust you've been enjoying the program so far, and then we'll be talking about the relationship between our passion and our career as a profession. And just like I rightly said before we went on the short break, we want to be looking at the reason, a major reason why people find it difficult to build a career or a profession around their passion, and that is fear. So maybe you throw a little light for us on that.
Well, fear is a big one, you know. Fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
What if, what if, what if? And fear, someone forms something that says false evidence appearing real. Because it really isn't real. That thing that it doesn't exist. It's a feeling of your imagination, really. I just say, oh, you know, what if I fail? And I always tell people, what if you don't? What if you don't? What if you succeed? You might say, oh, what if I fall? What if you fly? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You need to try. If you try and it doesn't work out, then you try again. I've tried so many businesses. I love, like I said, I'm a creative person. I've done so many things, you know. But the thing is that when you don't have the passion for it, it won't even be sustained. Like I went into makeup one time. I do not have the passion for makeup. It didn't work out.
Died a natural death.
Oh, it died a natural death. I just had zero interest in it, you know. If you have a passion for money, any business you do will work out. Some people that's their passion. They just love making money, you know. And so, you know, so the thing is that fear is what makes you just sit down and you see your life going past you. And you just, and it cripples you. Actually, fear is actually crippling. And when you say crippling, is that you actually cannot move. You can't do anything because you're just afraid of what if. And that's really, you know, the parable of the stewards. That was what made that guy bury it. He was afraid. He said, I don't want to lose it. Let me not get into trouble. Let me just bury this money here. If he was a bold person, he would say, okay, I'm going to be able to make some money here. Why don't I try and see what I can do with this money? But I was afraid, if I try it, I'll just lose it. Let me just bury it in the ground. But is that what God gave you that gift for? Is it for you to be buried and be hidden? No. It's actually not meant to be for. So fear paralyzes you. But apart from fear, another thing that makes people stop is pride.
Okay.
You know, pride. Because you don't want to make a fool of yourself. You think, what if I try this thing and it fails?
It doesn't work.
I don't want. They will now say, look at this one. He's, you know, different things. He's always trying. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So to me, those things, you know, both of them are the main things that stop people. Fear and pride. You don't want, you're afraid to try and you're too proud to fail. So you think, if I do this and it doesn't work out, then what next? And I always tell people, if you try and it doesn't work out, go to plan B. And then learn your lessons. Why didn't it work out? Maybe it was a premature timing. Maybe you didn't do it the right way. Maybe you're not meant to do it at all. You know, and you know, one thing I always tell people, because there's a great emphasis of, be your own boss, blah blah. It's not for everybody. It really isn't for everybody. Some people.
There's nothing wrong with working.
There's nothing wrong with working for somebody.
You're enjoying what you're doing.
As long as you growing. It's like, so don't just do it because the next man is doing. There's some people who cannot work for themselves. They can't. So some people can't work for anybody. Some people can't work for themselves. God designs you in different ways. Some people, the minute you put them in an office environment, they're just going to rebel because it's just not the way God designed them. But if you know that that structure, that 9 to 5 works for you, go ahead. But also find the other passions you have. If your passion is working, fine. Don't rob yourself because you're trying to make a living. And you now rob yourself of that God-given satisfaction and fulfillment from, reliving your passion. So so fear is a big one, and it's something that, as a believer, as a Christian, really, you need to really put fear aside because fear will always be there. In fact, what I always tell people, if there's no fear, then maybe you shouldn't even try it. Because fear is that thing that tells you you're going in the right direction. Go ahead, overcome that fear. Ask God to help you. Because on your own, how much can you really do? So when you have the fear, it's normal to be afraid, but you have to go ahead and fight the fear and go ahead and do what you need to do. Don't let it, cripple you. Don't let it rule you. Don't let it guide you. Submit, let the flesh submit to you. Not you, submit to the Spirit of God. Allow the Spirit of God to be alive in you so that you are not allowing the flesh to rule you, because the fear is coming from your soul and from you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't do it. You can't do it. So fear and pride are the biggest things for me that make people just sit down and not do what they're supposed to do.
Very, very serious stuff. Okay, so I think people should be encouraged. We're encouraging the audience to put fear aside, put pride aside. And another thing I discovered is that most times people want to start big.
Oh, yes.
And then in trying to start big, they don't start at all.
They don't start at all. They don't start at all. And, and it's funny. We all know Banex Plaza in Abuja here. And I'm privileged to know the person who constructed. And he tells me, when they told me, I read his book and he was saying how every plan he had, he would just do the drawing. He would sketch it first, call his architect and say, please, do this for me. That one will be wondering, does he have the money for this project? No, he doesn't. But he would just say, let's just start. Let's just sketch it. He will look at the sketch every day. He will ask them, do a 3D. Look at the 3D every day. And little by little,
faith is building up.
Faith is building up.
Resources.
That is just the way it goes. So if you're just waiting for until you have all the money, no. And you start with what you have.
Yes.
Start with what you have. It might seem like a little, but a little goes a long way, especially when you have faith. So a lot of people are waiting until I have, you know, it's common here. Oh, you won't marry until you have all the resources. It doesn't make any sense. Once you know you're ready and you have reasonable resources, you go ahead. When you know you have this business dream or this business idea, it might just be one book you want to write. Start with that one book.
That you've written it. And
write it.
Just
write it. Let it just be in your system or wherever. Just scribble it down. Just leave it there. Then you just say, okay, next thing is printing or publishing it, or next thing is, you know, editing. Next thing is, you know. So do it stage by stage. Don't wait. As if you keep on waiting till you have all the money, a lot of things will not be accomplished. A lot of things. So finances that's just an excuse most times.
It's an excuse.
What's an excuse? Oh, I don't have enough money. With the little you have, what are you doing? I have a friend who has a pap business now, and she started with, I think she had like 2,000 naira or something on her. Bought the pap, made, you know, just made a few, gave some parents in her children's school, and from there, the business was multiplied. Word of mouth, she started advertising, she went online, announcing her business. Now she has a factory in Abuja. She's moving to, she has something in Lagos as well that she has opened. She supplies pap all over the country. She supplies pap abroad as well. You know, this is a young woman in her 30s. And she started from just buying in Garki market 2,000 naira corn and doing it in her kitchen, making the ogi herself. You know, so if she had waited to say, oh, I need to wait so I can build a factory. Will she be where she is today? I doubt it.
I think most of our young persons are also brought under undue pressure from social media.
Oh, yeah.
And they are yet to understand that everything on social media is not
real. It's not real.
So sometimes they see all these celebrity successes and all, and then they feel they should walk overnight to just be there, undue pressure, and then it's no longer there. So sometimes I see some young persons, they sag their trousers, barb the kind of hair, they're trying to imitate somebody, then they keep struggling and all. So I think that could be another.
It stems from a degree of low self-esteem as well.
Yes.
Because if you feel good about yourself, you will not allow what you see
to influence
you. And I always tell people, stop looking at the grass on the other side. Water your own garden. Because the grass you might be looking at might be synthetic grass,
of course,
for all you know. So you look at that person on Instagram or Facebook, you see that this person, he's looking, this guy is doing so well. This man is doing so well. You don't know anything from a picture or from images. Anything you can portray whatever you want through images.
And
take a good picture. You can borrow a suit and take a nice picture. Return it the next day. I trust you, but you know. People will actually go that far. They will put, they can just, create an impression online just for the likes, just for the comment, and it's really not real. So if you're getting drawn by what you see on the other side of, of a screen, you're going to miss it big time. You need to really have a lot of confidence and know, God, that person's race is not my race. The race is not unto the swift, it's unto who God showeth mercy. Face your front. Look at where God is taking you. Look at your own passion, your own purpose, and follow it. Don't be drawn by, what this person is doing. He has already bought his car. He has already done this. You don't know what he did to buy that car. You don't know if he has even paid for the car. Don't, this person's wedding was so, grandiose. This person, he's doing so well. Have you seen his business? My goodness. In fact, until I have that kind of money, I won't do. Until I can rent that kind of shop, I cannot do it. I must have a shop in Wuse too. No. How do you know how they got that shop? Do you know if maybe he has a rich uncle that you don't know? Just face your front. Just look at where God is taking you. Let your eye be like a flint and just be focused on your own goal, on your own dreams and your own aspirations.
A step at a time.
A step at a time, and you'll get there.
And on the other hand, I think some others who are passionate about something lack ideas. You made mention of something when you were talking. People use finances and it's actually as an excuse. It's not the main issue. It's just an excuse people bring up, even without knowing that it's not an excuse. Why? Because I believe the greatest thing we need in financing our passion, building a career around it, or even being a success in life as a whole, it's not really finances. It's not number one for me.
Oh no, it's not.
Ideas.
True.
Ideas. But most people feel even to get the finances, you need ideas on how to get the finances.
I agree.
Ideas are the first and foremost. Let's hear what you have to say about that.
The Bible says, my people perish for lack of
knowledge.
Lack of knowledge. And the Bible says, get wisdom, for wisdom is the principal thing. So that wisdom is what gives you ideas. And the Bible says that God gives you witty inventions. So those ideas are really, really, really important, because like you said, even to get the finance, you need the ideas to know, okay, how can I get finance? Who can I, can I take a loan if you need to, the right kind of loans to take, not to go and get yourself in debt. You need to know a lot of things. So ideas are really important. How am I going to do it? And the truth is that you can actually pay for ideas. When I say pay for ideas, you can get training. Yes. You can go to school, you can do courses that will help you think and say, okay, exactly. You start thinking, you're seeing the big picture, the brighter side. So you can actually, in a way, you can actually pay and say, okay, you know what, I'm feeling a bit, I'm not really, hitting it mentally. I need to think more. I need to, improve my vision. And you can actually take some developmental courses to help you, and to start thinking more creatively and think, okay, how can I know I love doing this. I know I love children. I want to start a daycare, but how do I do it? You can start by asking other people who have gone ahead of you. That's really important. Some years ago I was sewing because I like clothes. That's one of the things I love seeing people dressed nicely. So I started sewing clothes. And the first thing I did was to go to a guy that made clothes in somewhere in Wuse and talk to him. How do you source your tailors? What do you do? He gave me a lot of ideas. How do you pay them? If I had just stumbled into it on my own, I would have made many more mistakes. So it's important to have a reference point, somebody who you can talk to, who has gone ahead, who you can say, okay, what can I get? And thank God for the internet as well, because there's so many things you can learn from other people's stories. Thank God for books. You can read books and get knowledge from them, and say, oh, this person has done this. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's really hardly any new idea. Maybe the ideas are, they've been
repackaged.
Exactly. Yes. The times and exactly. But really, the same old ideas that are there. So even when you read old books with wisdom, you're still getting ideas. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When I talk to young people on things like this, first I encourage them to start from look around their environment. What can you do? How can you go about something without necessarily having to first pay for it? Then from there you can now move to the angle of where you can pay for something. For instance, you made mention of something vital. Ask people who have gone ahead. Some of them are very, very willing to share ideas and share experiences free of charge. That's one. Then another very, very important part you mentioned is the internet. The internet. We're actually spending money on the internet, but we don't feel like we're spending money on the internet. So you see a lot of young persons on the internet as rich as Brother Google is. They just use it for frivolities.
For rubbish.
For frivolities.
The internet is I love the internet, to be honest. And when people say, oh, it's it's evil. In every good idea, the enemy tries to divert them, and there's always the bad side. But the kind of resources available on the internet. The first book I wrote, I sat down in my room, I found an illustrator online, I started, how do you write a children's book, got information online, and that was how I published my first book. Without really talking to anybody. I went to a library and sat down and started looking at other children's books. How are they written? How many pages do they have? What size are there? What's the format? How many illustrators does a book of 30 pages have? What's the standard? But when you start reading and looking at what other people have done, you start getting ideas. It's not stealing. It's actually just using wisdom to get, creative ideas. Creative ideas. So you start looking. Like you said, you ask people around. A lot of people are desperate to pour out their wisdom to others. And they're just looking for people who actually come and ask. Which is why I talk about pride a lot. Pride is the downfall of many people, because you don't even want to, you're afraid, if I ask this man.
You want to add the originality to
oh yes, it's my idea, it's me.
No,
yes, it's me, I did it all myself. Ask, and you know God is leading you. Go and ask that man, go and talk to him. And you might think, I don't want anybody to insult me, I beg, I don't want, go and talk. And you'll be surprised the person will just pour out. So people are just freely, without asking for a dime. People are just ready to mentor. There's something that I do sometimes that I've done once where we call, young children, teenagers, and we mentor them for free. We teach them, we do, and it's the children are always so happy. We who are are always so, so excited, just to be, giving wisdom, because we also learn from them as well. So you always find people, identify that thing you want to do and find someone who is skilled there, and you can get this information for free. And then even online, like you said, the free resources, free ebooks, free courses are a lot. There are so many free resources out there. Just identify the right ones.
And flow with it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at how do I identify my passion and how do I develop it into a profession. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Hello viewers, you're welcome back. Trust you've been enjoying the program. We want to briefly talk about how to identify your passion and how to build a career around your passion. Okay, so Ma, how, if you are to be asked, how somebody comes to you, how do I identify my passion and all, what would your response be?
The first thing I'll say is think of those things that come naturally to you.
Okay.
Those things that you can't just help but do. I'll give an example. You go somewhere and you see people, their dressing is just, you're like, why is this man's suit like this? Why is this woman's shirt like this? And you can't, you're almost wanting to, everything. You just loved, you're a sharp dresser. You just do that look, you like looking good. Your passion could be dressing, your passion could be fashion, your passion could be, organizing people's wardrobe. So it's, so that will point to it. Those things that you can't help yourself. It's like, almost like a reflex action. You just want to do it. Once you see, even when they say don't, stop. You can't, you're like, I want to. You have to say,
you have to calm down.
Yeah, so for some people, they might be helping people. You see, even if the person, they've told you, this woman, I want for you, you're always, even when you've had bad experiences, you just want to help people. Your passion has to do with people. Your passion is people, and it has to do, and whatever profession you have to do will go around people. So is it that maybe as a guidance counselor or or a coach maybe of some sort. So or even a pastor, because pastors have to be into people. You have to deal with people on a daily, all sorts of people. So why someone will say, I cannot deal with all these people. They're different nature, they're different characters. One is rude. As a pastor, you have to deal with all sorts of people every day. So you get used to it. So yeah, so those things that you do, you cannot just help but do. That's one pointer to your passion. Another pointer to your passion is what people say about you.
Okay.
People who are close to you, not just anybody.
Yes, your inner circle.
Your inner circle, your mother, your siblings, your close friends. You are always doing this. You can't just help yourself. You're just, always, every time. Once they see you, jokes will now start. You're always cracking jokes. Always singing. Once you see anything that looks like a microphone, you want to always sing. Always singing. You can't help. You're always buying books. Why are you always buying books? As they're saying these things, it's entering your brain. You're like, it actually points to something. And I remember, one day I was going through my report cards from primary school, from nursery and primary school, because my father kept all of them. And I saw something my teacher wrote. I was a little girl, maybe 5, and she wrote, Chioma is always reading. If only she could read at the right time. She reads even when she's not meant to be reading. And it was a problem for her. Even when you're meant to be listening in class, you're trying to read a book. You want to read. She's always reading, always reading. So now I'm most surprised that I love reading, I love researching, I love writing, because those things, they go. So that was a pointed. It was a pointer. So your children, your teachers, those who know you closely, people who don't know you, or who are not. There's some people you're not allowed to even speak into your life in the first place. But people who know you closely, who love you, are always able to tell you, this is what you're good at. Yes. If they've not told you, you can even go ahead and ask them. People who you know really love you and who mean well for you, people who are very close, your inner circle, like you say, and say, look, what's that thing that you think? You'll find that by the time you ask 3, 4, 5 of them, they will all say similar things or the same thing. You'll be surprised.
Perhaps in different
maybe in different, yes, but the same thing. But then you ask all of them, what is it about this person? Just recently I was asking, I was with my friends and they were talking about me, and they were all saying, Chioma knows people. Chioma likes people. Chioma knows. And I was laughing because I know a part of my passion is people. I already, God has told me that, so it was interesting to hear, but that is part of my passion, is people. So people, services, things that have to do with helping people, reaching out to people. So even my books I'm writing my books to touch people's lives, to inspire people, to influence people, so that's what it's about. So think about it. What are those? What do you hear being said about you time and time again? If you don't hear anything, go ahead and ask people, what do you think is that thing that I'm always doing? And they will tell you, and you'll be like, this one you're always arranging everywhere. And then you ask again, how can you turn this passion into a profession? There's so many ways you can research about it. You can say, okay, now my passion is people. What am I going to do with people? You know, are they going to feed me? Is that money? I'm going to change them to money. No, but passion, it can bring you, and it's not only about money, about fulfillment as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important. So yes, it might be something, you might have a passion that might not be able to be monetized immediately.
Yes, but over time.
But over time, and it will give you access.
Of course.
Some things that money cannot buy. You have access to individuals.
You
have relationships with people who will now do things for you. You know, so for instance, you know a lot of people. That itself is something that money cannot even buy, as an asset. So you go somewhere, you go to this ministry, you know somebody that can help you. You go there, somebody can help you because you're a people person. You know how to network, you know how to connect. There's no price on that. That can be one passion you have is people. Another passion can bring money through a different way. So it's just to find a way. Don't always think of money immediately.
Yeah. I think we even have a distorted idea of what money is.
Yes, it blindsides people, it blind tracks people.
For most people is just the legal term that
and it's more than that.
It's value.
And money can be here today, can be gone tomorrow. Of course. You know, so it's not about, so don't focus. To me, that's not the big picture. Money is not the big picture. You will get there. But at this time, what are you doing? You're getting fulfilled. Then you think about, okay, and most times you can start doing it. If it's something that you really enjoy, maybe you start doing it for free. You know, you start helping people for free. You get to a point that everybody says, go and meet that man. Oh, he's very good at organizing documents. By the time one person that is not your friend comes, you say, no, I beg, I'm tired. Oh, you must pay me. They say, how much? You say, okay, 10,000 naira. I say, okay.
No problem.
No problem.
Business has started.
That's a business. That's a job. And you now go and register your business names. It just takes 10,000 to register a business name. Register your business name, do your company, and within you see referrals will come. Yeah. That guy is so good at organizing. If you need to, anyone that will organize your documents together, go and meet him. That's how a job has been found.
Yeah. Okay. Now, just to take you back a little on how to identify your passion.
Yes.
Your passion.
Yes.
You made mention of being observant about. I believe everybody if people can be observant about themselves,
yes,
they'll be able to identify that. But most people don't pay attention to themselves.
That's true.
They are so overwhelmed with the environment, flowing around with folks and all. You know, trying
and
to
being influenced by everything.
Yes, trying to do what's in vogue.
Yes.
So, for instance, this period has been the World Cup, and football over time has been very popular. So most people feel, wow, every week these guys collect thousands of pounds, thousands of dollars footballing. You know, some others feel, you know, Davido, Whiskey,
so must be on the stage.
It has to be music. You
That's
know, so
it.
You see a lot of young persons struggling. What we're saying applies to every other person, but with emphasis on the young persons. See, a lot of them are struggling.
Yes.
So, just like you rightly said, when attention is paid to ourselves, detailed attention is paid to ourselves, we must be able to identify what we are passionate about.
I gave you an example, like when I was selling makeup. To be honest, I know makeup is not my strong point. It's not. I'm not fascinated by makeup. I don't like it that much. I can go days without it. I had no business selling makeup in the first place. Because for someone who loves makeup, she's like, this color has come, and she's so excited about the makeup. So it will be easy for her to do that business and do it so well. So we need to be true to ourselves. Yes. Self-deceit is very dangerous. A lot of people, you're deceiving yourself. You know that this thing, you really don't like it that much. A passing interest is not passion. Yeah. It has to be, a passion is something, like I said, you cannot help yourself. A lot of us can be good at different things. That's not the same thing as passion. That you're good at something does not mean you have the passion to do it. As you can kick a ball a bit does not mean you have the passion to play football. A footballer is dreaming football. He's dreaming, he's seeing himself on the big field, seeing himself in the stadium. He's just eating, sleeping, and he wakes up, his football is on his mind. That is passion. That is passion. Like, you know, I give an example of when a man is in love with a woman or vice versa. You think about that person so much. That is because you're passionate about her or him. So you tell yourself the truth. If you can be honest to yourself, you know that this thing I have a passion for it, this thing I do not have a passion for it.
Okay, now you also made mention of volunteering.
Yes.
I think that's a very strong one that we should call out.
Yes.
The first place I believe that volunteering should happen is in the church.
Oh, yes.
But most people don't know. Most people don't know. I grew up in the church, in the church walls. Most of the things I know how to do today, I learned because I was given opportunity to do that in church. I play musical instruments. I love musical instruments. Fantastic. I may not be about the whole singing and the twisting of the voices, I know, but the musical instruments, I love them. And it was the church circle that brought it out and all. So most people neglect the church. So I would just like us to throw a little more light on that, how people can leverage on the opportunities we have to learn, expand their passions within the church,
while in the church,
while growing spiritually, also rendering service
to God.
Money doesn't necessarily need to be attached to that.
Yes, it's not always about money. People think, when I hear the emphasis on money, it makes me very sad, because really, a lot of times it's the people. You need the foot soldiers, those people who will be on ground, who need to do the work and move the ministry forward. The vision of Christ in the church today. And any church you go to, whether it's in the Anglican Church, Catholic, Pentecostal, it's the same set of people you see working. Yeah. The same people you see them doing everything.
That handful of persons.
It's that same people, and if only people will know that when you serve God, the reward is so great. Like you said, you're actually doing yourself a great disservice by not serving God. You're doing a great disservice to yourself. When you work in the house of God, not only are you getting the spiritual blessing, you're also learning, like you said, you learned instruments while working in church. You're learning so many skills.
Speaking in public, as a matter of fact, like you're able to face any crowd.
That's I learned that in church, because naturally I'm not someone that I'm a bit shy, but in church I had I've served in different churches where I had to talk. And I always tell myself, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So I won't say I can't talk in public. I will force myself. I will stand up and I will do it. And I learned that in church first of all. So it's really something that you can do, and you're not, like I said, not only are you getting the spiritual benefits, the spiritual reward and blessing for serving in the house of God, but you're also learning something for yourself. So that's a great way of doing something free, just using your time, and you're learning, and with everything, practice makes perfect. Like you're talking about developing your passion. How do you develop a passion? By practicing it. No matter how much skill you have as a piano player, if you don't play for years, you will not be as good as somebody who might not even have as much skill as you, but is really playing every day. So really, practice makes, and that practice can be gotten through in the area of volunteering your services in the house of God.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, another thing I think we should talk about is on the area of building. We're trying to talk about building a career around your passion.
Yeah.
I think there's the place of getting knowledge. Once passion is identified,
yes,
building, maybe getting knowledge as regards that passion. What does it entail? What's the industry like? What's the space like? And all. So knowledge. I'd like us to throw a little more light on knowledge.
Okay, like we said before, we spoke about mentoring, about getting mentors. Yes. A mentor is not something. It's easier when the mentor is somebody that you know. A lot of us, when I ask people who's your mentor, they'll say Oprah Winfrey. You don't have any access to Oprah. I'm not saying you cannot admire her and not be influenced by her greatly, but you don't have, as in, how can you relate to that person? It's easier to have someone that you can identify in real life, someone who you have access to. It could even be an auntie, it could be a relative, it could be your mother, someone that you can actually sit down and say, okay, I want to learn this from you, I want to get this knowledge from you, and you glean from that person. The person must not be educated. A lot of us are looking for people that have Harvard degree and everything to be. No, it could be somebody who is just very hardworking, very resourceful, very skillful in an area.
Has what you need.
And has what you need. And has what you need to grow in that particular passion that you have. So don't look down on anybody. This person that you think, you might think, oh, I went to school, the person just stopped at secondary school. But the person has more knowledge than you and is able to give you, pass and transfer things onto you. So that's one way, through mentoring, through relationships. And like we also spoke about the internet, getting free resources online, studying. There are lots of case studies online. You can go there and see how to do this. If you go and Google how to open a daycare in Nigeria, you'll be shocked.
The number of
you'll be shocked.
Pages that
yes, complete with business plan. You will just sit down and think, okay, how to open a bakery, and then you can. When you serve in church, it helps you as well, because it gives you access to people.
Yes.
So you can say, oh, there's this auntie who has a bakery in church, let me go and talk to her. She'll be happy because she's like, oh, I know him. I know her, I see her, she's in the choir. She'll feel comfortable to open up to you and say, okay, this is how you do it, this is what you do. Okay, come to the bakery and come and see how things are done.
Relationships
yes,
are powerful.
exactly. Those things are really, as you can't underestimate them really. People make the world go round. So those things are really, really, really important. And then lastly, and like I said, after you've done everything, pay for knowledge. There's something about putting a price on something, when there's a premium on something. When you spend money on something, you won't want it to waste. You value it more. After I spend money on that thing, I must get out of it. I remember when I went back to school for my second master's degree in England, because I had 2 young children then with me, my 2 youngest, an 18-month-old and my daughter was 8 at the time. And I went to England for a year. And I had a passion to get another degree. That was what I was passionate about. But for that period, I wanted more. I'm all about knowledge. I wanted more knowledge. I was like, I want a foreign degree at that point in time. So that was my passion. And I told my lecturer, I want to make a distinction. I said, why? So because I've paid, my school fees was plenty. We paid in pounds. The foreign exchange rate is really high. Wow. After paying that money, I better go back home with a good degree.
If you pay that kind of amount
oh my
for your
goodness.
child and he comes back with a poor result, my friend.
In fact, I wouldn't have the mouth to even talk to my own children after failing. So I can't fail, I have to do really well. Yeah. So that was what drove me. So at times when you pay that, so that money that we paid for my fees was my motivation. That really helped me, and I was able to get the best out of that knowledge. Now, believe you me, if I had gone to a school where I was paying just, something really low, I might not value the education as much. If I was going somewhere where I didn't really have the cost, I was going with children. I left my husband at home for almost a year. Well, he was coming to visit, but I was away from my family. I was away from my other 2 children for that period. There was a cost. And the cost was high, so I knew I could not afford to not come back with something. Oh yeah, I had to do really well. So when there's a cost attached to something, I better do this thing well. So yes, get education. Some things you need to pay for them, but pay for the right things. There's a lot of there's a lot of people who go around, especially online, who don't always have much to offer. There are some that have a lot of amazing resources. Identify the right people. Ask questions. You see someone that has gone for this course, ask her, how was that course? What did you learn? Say, okay, go. It was, it was really good. Ask people, look at reviews, and make sure that course, that university, that degree is meant for you. Yes. Don't just do it because you see everybody else is doing it. Look at it, do your research.
How was the application?
Yeah, what's the application? The relevance. Is it going to work for you? Will it suit you? If it won't suit you, then what's the point of wasting money doing it? So do your homework, do your grammar, and then go and get that knowledge and apply it. I think
the least young persons can do, go to a bookstore.
Oh yeah.
And pay for a book.
Get a book.
The reading culture is very low these days, and nothing ever replaces knowledge in a book. And that some are very good with e-books.
Yes.
Some others the hard copy. Gets the knowledge.
But even if you want a hard copy, you can actually download books online. A lot of time when we spend online looking at celebrities and looking at irrelevant things, you can spend it getting knowledge, downloading ebooks. So you said go to the bookstore, buy a book, go to the library and go and study. There are amazing resources that you can read. And once you read, it takes you to different places that you can't go yourself. It opens your mind. It gives you wisdom. It gives you learn things that really can blow your mind. So reading is a big one.
All right. Thank you very much for the amazing knowledge. Maybe we'll just talk about one thing. What's the place of the person who has identified his passion in organizing the right set of persons around him? Company.
Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. It's really important. It's important who has your ear, who is feeding stuff into your system, people who are speaking the right things. Some people are going to just discourage you. You tell them you have this dream, I want to start making pap, and they'll say, pap of all things. Look at you, as beautiful as you are, you want to sell pap? And that's what my friend was told. But they say, look at you, you want to be a public speaker, you stammer, you don't even talk well, you don't even look that nice, you're overweight, and they'll just discourage you. So you need friends that will encourage you. You need a good circle. You need an accountability, people who you can be accountable to for the right things. You need like a master class of sorts. People who will just tell you, go ahead, go for it. I have a book club. Well, it's not my book club. My friends have book club, and I'm part of it. And it's great because we are all women who encourage. We're mostly Christians. We encourage each other. We tell ourselves things that we motivate ourselves. So you need to have the right people speaking to you and telling you you can do it. So that's really important. If you have destructive friends, people who just suck from you, people who make you feel less than you are, check yourself. When you leave, you won't achieve. But when you leave their presence, how do you feel? I thought you told them, I have this dream, I'm starting this thing.
It will help you.
People who always discourage you, some might be giving you words of wisdom, but think well. Someone that every idea you have, the person is like, it can't work.
Negative first.
Always negative. You need to be careful. Withdraw a bit from that person and feed yourself with the right kind of company. Don't be afraid to make friends. The right kind of friends who will help you.
Don't be afraid to cut off friends.
Oh, don't be afraid. Delete if you need to.
All right, thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time with you. Thank you very much. We'll have to round up now because of our time, and I'm sure our audience have learned a whole lot. Passion has to do with a strong desire for something it's like you can't help but do that stuff, whether it's singing, playing football, whatever it is. As big as it might sound or as small as it might sound, that's passion, something you are desirous about. And then we also establish the relationship between passion and profession. It's important you find yourself in a profession that is in line with your passion, because just like we rightly said from the movie, when you make your passion your profession, work becomes play. And then thirdly, how do we develop our passion? How do we identify it? Pay close attention to yourself, to the things you enjoy doing and all of that. Then give yourself to volunteer work. In volunteering for stores, whether in church or in organizations, you're able to better, concretize what you have ability to do, what you have a flair for, what comes in naturally to you, and all of that. Then in building a career around your passion, get knowledge about the passion you've discovered. Get a mentor, get knowledge, very important. Organize, have around you a network of people who can encourage you. Join a book club, like guest rightly said, if possible, and get the best, make the most out of what God has given you. You are not permitted to die without being a blessing to your world through what God has embedded in you. It's not possible. We reject that for you.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much. We trust you've been blessed. Thank you once again, our guest.
Thank you very much.
It's wonderful. Thank you for coming around, irrespective of the tight schedule.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. All right, till we come your way next time, I remain KCAZ, your presenter for Youth Arena. Don't go anywhere. Keep tuning in. Keep tuning in. You keep learning. God bless you. See you next time.